Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rangers Daily. I'm Todd Werwa. I hope you've all gotten over the craziness that was the Tuesday night game against the Bruins. It's only preseason. There were a lot of good things that happened. And yeah, there were a lot of learning experiences, but that happens. That's preseason. That's what happens when you play young guys. It's the nature of the beast. But a lot of good things to take away from the game. And I wanted to start by elaborating a little bit more on the Adam Fox Vlad Gavrikov pairing. They looked good and better as the game went on, but I wanted to give you some numbers so that you could put a little into analytical context of how effective they were. They played together for 18 minutes and 9 seconds at 5-on-5. So quite a bit. Shot attempts 4, 24. Shot attempts against 9. That's pretty good domination. Expected goals percentage of 72.9. The shots on goal during the time they were on ice at 5-on-5 together was 10-5. Now, I'd say that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty dominant. They did play a lot with the top line and Gabe Perreault and Parsonen. They played really well, that top line. So it goes hand in hand that they would have created a lot of chances. But that's good that the direction of play was going toward the offensive zone as opposed to back toward their own defensive zone. The expected goals number for when they were on the ice together was 2.15 compared to 0.81 when they were against, and that was the whole time at even strength that they were on together. So I know Adam Fox made several mistakes. Led to at least one goal, almost led to another. But these two are finding their chemistry. They will develop. I think Gavrikov is much more of a puck mover than Ryan Lindgren was. And that's something that Adam Fox will have to get used to, how he plays off of that, knowing that he doesn't have to do sort of everything in terms of zone exits or finding the center, finding the outlet pass. He can give it to Gavrikov, and Gavrikov can carry. So there's a lot that can be done. They looked good for the first time. They dominated play. Yes, Adam Fox made a couple of mistakes, but again, early preseason, and just watch. This is where they're at. Watch how they develop as preseason and as the early season goes on. They have an interesting first 10 games that culminates with the old Western Canada road trip that now includes Seattle. Starts about game 10. So let's keep an eye on how they do before they head off to Western Canada and see how this pair develops. They'll be the D1 pair. We know that is going to be the case. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop, but I liked what I saw for the most part last night, and the numbers back that up. Topic number 2, wanted to take a minute because we haven't talked about it here, and the Rangers are wearing a sticker on the back of their helmet for Eddie Giacomin, the late goalie for the New York Rangers, who passed away on September 15th of this year at age 86. He wasn't Mr. Ranger, all right? That's Roger Bear. But Eddie was beloved, just beloved. He had a stellar career, as obviously his number 1 hangs in the rafters. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. What I didn't realize as I was doing a bunch of research, I knew he won the Vezina, knew he was in the Hall of Fame. I didn't realize in 1966-67, he finished second in the Hart Trophy to Stan Mikita. He played 68 games, led the league, faced 2,089 shots, made more than 1,900 saves, had a .917 save percentage and a 2.61 goals against that year. It's not often a goalie came in second in the Hart Trophy voting. You finish second to Stan Mikita. That's pretty respectable. He won the Vezina in 1970, 1971. He was 27, 10, and 7 with a .922 and a 2.16. His 8 shutouts led the league. Just a quality goaltender, but it was the style with which he played. He was all over the place. He was unafraid. He was talkative. He was boisterous. I saw one description of he was swashbuckling. If you want to know just how loved he was, go to YouTube, look up November 2nd, 1975. Just search Eddie Giacomin return to MSG. the fans' chants of Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. I can't think of another time where the MSG faithful actively rooted against the Rangers, not out of dislike for how they were playing, but just because someone they loved was in the other net. They were cheering every Eddie Giacomin save. They were booing Ranger goals. It was an all-out love fest that most people say brought tears to everyone's eyes. Certainly brought tears to Eddie Giacomin's eyes that night. It was only 2 days after he'd been released by the Rangers, picked up by the Red Wings, and he came back to the Garden, and it was a love fest. It's you really should watch it. There are a variety of greatest moments at MSG clips, or just the clip from the game. It's really worth it. And I wanted to bring that up in part also because we lost three goaltenders over the last several weeks, all of them very different. Ken Dryden passed away, very cerebral, kind of created the butterfly, played a lot from his knees. I know Patrick Waugh gets a lot of credit for the butterfly, but Ken Dryden was really a forerunner of that. But so cerebral, wrote books, served in Canadian government, just a very different cat. The things he wrote just were things that people couldn't see just from following the game. And he wrote these stories, and his observations were so astute. Just a real, I believe the book is Home Game. If you get a chance to read it, if you haven't read it, definitely you should. And the other goalie that we just recently lost is Bernie Parent, who the Ranger connection is, sadly, his career came to an end against the Rangers when he took a stick in the eye. It impaired his vision, got inside the mask, and ended his career. There was maybe no more beloved Philadelphia Flyer alum than Bernie Parent. Everybody, just from his playing days, everyone loved him. But what he did in the Philly community, what he did for Ed Snyder's efforts to impact youth in the Philly area, just whenever there was a chance to get out in the community and do something, Bernie Parent did it. Just as great of a goalie as he was, just an absolute, really, really special man, special individual. So I wanted to make sure we took a little time to mention those guys, and I'm a big fan of goalies. You could see Lundqvist's number up there, and Richter's over there. Forgive the wandering finger. Richter's over there, and obviously Igor right now. This is a franchise that has had just an incredible history of goaltending, from Gump Worsley, Eddie Giacomin, to John Davidson, John Van Beesbrook, Mike Richter, Henrik Lundqvist, now Igor Shesterkin. If there's one bridge that really, takes the early days of the Rangers right to the current days of the Rangers, it's the goaltenders. So I wanted to make sure that Eddie Giacomin got a little love. Moving on into coming up Thursday's game. Interesting line pairings on Wednesday for the Thursday night game against the Islanders. Here's what it looks like we'll see, and we'll start to see some more big names. It looks like Lafreniere, JT Miller, and Mika Zibanejad on the first line, Shiri, Trocheck, and Radish on line 2, Edstrom, Rubrek, and Brodzinski 3, and either Bleed or Aspinall, Terrence, and Rempe on the fourth line. Probably won't see the big name defensemen. It looked like there was a lot of Susi and Borgen and Vakanainen and Schneider, and then Fitzgerald and Pouliot on the defensive pairings. But it's interesting. I wanted to chat a little bit, since we'll likely see Alexis Lafreniere for the first time this preseason. This needs to be a bounce back season. And with no Chris Kreider, someone really needs to be that front of the net, that high danger chance player. And in 24-25, Lafreniere, 17 goals, 28 assists, total of 45 points, and a minus 13. Again, plus minus, not everything, but it's tough to be minus 13 when you're playing as high in the lineup as Lafreniere is. In 23-24, he had 28 goals, 29 assists, 57 points, and was a plus 2. He was a plus 10 the year before with 39 points. So this needs to be really a breakout year, and it's why I have Laffy as one of my topics. Hopefully we'll get to see him on Thursday night play on that play on that first line. I hope to see him on the power play. I hope he gets some more power play time. He really only gets 5-on-5 time, or at least he did while past regimes and Chris Kreider was in the lineup. So I hope he gets some high end power play time, and I hope he makes the most of it. He could use it for his overall stat sheet, but I think he could use it as a more well rounded player on the team. A little power play time would probably help boost his 5-on-5 time. So Lafreniere would be the one that I'm really looking to see if he plays on Thursday in the first of two against the Islanders. And some other notes from the Island. I no real desire to talk Islanders, but wanted to make sure with two games coming up, we hit a couple of notes. It was announced on Wednesday, Anders Lee will be out 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury, so we won't see Anders Lee in either of these two games, Thursday or Monday. And hopefully we'll get to see number 1 overall pick Matthew Schaefer plays for the Islanders. He was playing on the third defensive pairing with Scott Mayfield on Wednesday at practice. He's 6'2", 186 pounds, and just turned 18 years old. Number 1 overall pick from Hamilton, Ontario. Played for the Erie Otters last year after he broke a collarbone. So he only played 17 games, scored 7 goals and 15 assists as a defenseman. So he can drive play. He's really fast. If you saw the game they played against the Flyers, he tracked down Matvei Michkov on a breakaway and stole the puck. It was pretty impressive. Matthew Barzal said he's going to be one, if not the best defenseman in the league at some point. So hopefully he plays one of these games and we get to see him, because he'll be likely a mainstay of the Rangers-Islanders rivalry for years to come, and can't wait for the Rangers to dominate them. So Thursday night, Rangers-Islanders, the first game of the rivalry. Even though it's preseason, it's never an easy night when these two teams play. So hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe down below. Hit the bell for updates. This is Rangers Daily. I'm Todd Werwa. Thanks for watching.